Thank you so much for joining me today. This is going to be a reading for Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising for mid-October to the end of the month. So let's get started and see what messages we have for Leo as they move through the rest of October. Okay, willing release, roots of abundance, and the rose's kiss. Okay, Leo. So I want to start with this card because I love the message of this card. The rose's kiss is really all about joy and experiencing pleasure, acknowledging your desires, and sort of taking a deep breath and centering on what brings you joy. Okay, and that is something that I feel we could all benefit from right now. It's almost like when you receive this card that you're being given an invitation to sort of leave your head and your body and just focus on the spiritual and intellectual being that you are. You know what I mean? And sort of emphasizing the sensory experience and really giving yourself the space to be free and to connect to spirit. To connect to spirit and to stop and kiss the roses. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful message of joy. It's really a beautiful message of joy, and to tap into the senses. You know, you have more senses than just your mind can produce, right? Like you can smell, you can touch, you can feel, you have intuition, you know, there are more things than just intellect that can guide you. And I feel like you're being asked to consider joy and to stop. And I love that, to sort of allow yourself to stop and smell and kiss the rose of joy, because that is really the root of your abundance, right? The idea of feeling completely secure and trusting in the timing of everything is the source of our abundance. Grounding ourselves and feeling that connection, right? That is the source of our abundance. The idea of staying in a vibration of fear and sort of panic, if you will, that does not bring about abundance. That feeling of scarcity may even detract from the experience of abundance and rob you of your roots here, your roots while you're on earth. It's almost like these messages are just beautiful together, that you have to be willing to release that fear and release that doubt and release the disbelief and to tap into this joy, to tap into the joy of life again. And I know, as I'm saying that, some people might be listening and thinking, what is she talking about? But I mean, really, it's a choice. We can choose to be in fear, or as I cut the deck, there's release again. You've got to be willing to release that fear. I love this as I cut the deck to see that card. It's a beautiful image for October as well. Release. You know, we've got to be willing to release some of the fear that we're existing in right now, or else how can we expect anything to shift? We must be willing. Willing to release actually also makes me think of the idea that it's a choice, and that it's a choice whether or not you stop and even notice the rose, let alone stop to give it a kiss. And that the roots of your abundance lie in your trust, lie in you trusting in the divine nature and the divine timing of our universe. Now, let's see what messages will support Leo as they go through this rest of the month, sort of trying to release things and stop and smell the roses. Really try to find joy again. Oh, isn't that interesting? Look what card came out. It came out. As I cut the deck, we saw it, and here it is back again to remind you to release. You just like the season that we're in right now in the Northern Hemisphere, you must shed your leaves. Just like all the trees are getting ready for winter, so must you. You must shed your former self and focus on, again, there's that message again, pleasure, of focusing on joy, pleasure, whatever lights up your senses, and releasing the idea that it has to be intellectual. You are a being that is much more than just your intellect. As human beings, our senses, we tend to not let them guide us as much as we should. But I often just think, why? Why? And I think it's because we live in a world where if you're not afraid, and if you're not trying to control everything, then you must be nuts. You must be nuts, right? That's the messaging we keep hearing. And the idea of focusing on things that give us pleasure and joy seems selfish, doesn't it? That's the message I always get thrown at me, is how selfish are you being? I don't think it's selfish to look for your joy. And perhaps it is selfish, but then maybe we need to redefine the word selfish so that it doesn't carry such a negative connotation. That, seeking your joy and releasing yourself from fear is the new security. That is the new security. That is the roots of your abundance. These cards are just amazing all together here. Like seeing this message next to each other, it's just beautiful. This card sort of reminds me of like the blue and white sort of makes me think of winter, and this makes me think of autumn. So it's interesting. It's almost like these are the seasons we're heading into, and we must be willing to release. We must be willing to release instead of resisting that release, right? And this idea of security with roots of abundance really goes with each other as well, so that perhaps you can find security and in a new way. I mean, I've never felt very secure when I'm in fear. So I don't know how that makes you feel more secure, if it does at all. But I feel like you can find that security by focusing on what gives you joy, what gives you pleasure, what makes you feel enriched and abundant. Okay, so let's jump into the tarot here. Sorry, my cat just walked in. Give her a little pet. Hi, Susie. Okay, let's jump into the tarot here and see what's going on for Leo. Oh, Susu's playing with the tripod, guys. Sorry, if it wiggles, it's because my cat, there she is, she's scratching her face on it. Okay, I've got a little Susu left. All right, let's see what's going on here for Leo. Leo, you feel bored. No wonder you're getting messages to seek pleasure and joy, because you're feeling very bored. You're feeling emotionally dissatisfied, and you think it's beyond your control, but it's not. You can release this dissatisfaction that you're feeling, and I feel like you can move through and create what you want to see in the world. But I feel like you don't believe that, King of Pentacles. It's like you don't believe you have the Midas touch. You don't believe you have the ability to shift your life by focusing and releasing on different things, right? By focusing on different things and releasing other things. I feel like you feel stuck in this emotional dissatisfaction, and that, yeah, you don't think there's enough. You're in fear. You don't think that there's enough. You don't think you're enough. You don't think the world's enough, and you don't think that there's any abundance here. You don't feel like you have any security. Isn't that interesting, guys? It's this message of abundance. You need to shift how you are seeing the abundance that surrounds you. That if you tap into your desire, your joy, your pleasure, and you release all of those other low vibrational feelings, then things are going to shift for you, Leo. Yeah, I think what's driving this whole reading for you is that, it's like you've discounted the divine intervention that can have a sort of miraculous impact on your life. There's this auspicious ace of rods trying to bring in a new beginning for you, and it's like you just don't see it. You don't see it. You don't believe it. Maybe it's because you're not, like, when you look at this image here, you're not even noticing that the universe is handing you a brand new cup, because you're focused on these 3 cups that make you feel bored and emotionless and dissatisfied. Whereas there's a new cup being handed to you right there. Here's it being handed to you in a wand form, and here it is being handed to you in a cup form. And I feel like you need to turn that lens inwards to yourself, and that finding pleasure, like the Ace of Rods is pleasure. There's pleasure in the wands. That's where you find that you are able to sort of have all your desires. And so when I see the card pleasure and the Rose's Kiss and the Ace of Rods as sort of driving your reading, it really makes me think that pleasure is missing. Joy, pleasure, fulfillment, feeling good about yourself, Leo. That's what's missing, okay? Yeah. In the past, it's like you closed out in a recent past, you've closed out a few chapters, and I feel like you got stuck in the reflection phase and you can't get out. It's almost like now you're stuck feeling all of these feelings that aren't even in the present moment anymore. And you've got to somehow find a way to take a leap of faith out of that, to sort of step outside of the idea that that you can't release what doesn't serve you. You can. And if you do, my goodness, the abundance, the pleasure, the joy, the security, the satisfaction that you will have in your ability to sort of have some role in changing how things feel in your day to day. And it all starts with a choice. And I feel like in the upcoming future, you're going to be invited to take that leap of faith, but you're going to resist it a little bit. And I think that's because of this idea that you don't feel abundant. You don't feel secure. You don't feel like there's a ground that's secure beneath your feet that would allow you to take a leap of faith. You know what I mean? Very interesting here. Your inner dialogue is one of needing, like, you almost feel like you've got 4 fours here, just so you know. You've got 4 fours here. I feel like your inner dialogue here is one that continues on from that hermit energy where you're, withdrawing from people and reflecting. And I feel like you're almost ruminating. You're replaying things over and over again in your mind. And I almost feel like it's not serving you anymore. I feel like it's not serving you. You've got these 3 fours, which tells me that, what comes after 4 is 5. And 5 is the big truth that gets revealed to you. So I feel like you're on the cusp of understanding that you do have abundance and that you are secure. These 3 fours are really making me feel that you need to release something, Leo. Something got to go. Something needs to be released. But, in this mode that you're in, you don't feel abundant enough to release anything. In this 4 of Pentacles, you feel like if you let go of one of those coins, that's it. You'll never get it back. And as you say that messaging to yourself, you're creating sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy that is not serving you. So it's like, you keep getting thrown back into a place where it's like the universe just wants you to reflect on things in a different way and to take a time out from the external world so that you can reflect on things. And I feel like that reflection process is just, it's challenging you. It's challenging you because you keep getting stuck. You keep getting stuck there. You keep getting stuck in the past. Now, yeah, like you're not able to sort of be mindful of the present. You keep getting stuck in the past. Yeah. And that's not going to serve you. And it's coming across as being impatient and sort of not really feeling good about things, feeling like that things are off. When temperance is upright, it's really a time where we trust in the timing of things and we feel secure even if things aren't going in the direction that we thought they would or at the time that we thought they should. And so when it's in reverse, it's really, you're digging your heels in and you're feeling impatient. It's almost a controlling vibe. When I see temperance in reverse, I think that the individual is maybe trying to control the situation overly instead of surrendering, right? We see this willing release and release. 2 cards telling you to release. Leo. So I feel like it's time to let go. Take that leap of faith. You know what I mean? Let go of some of the burdens that you're holding on, because I feel like you're missing out on some pleasure otherwise. You know what I mean? Yeah. And yeah, I feel like this new perspective is something that you want. Maybe someone's been talking to you about this and sort of trying to get you to see things from a different perspective, and you're like, yeah, that sounds good. I like that. But then you're just like, I don't know. I don't know how to get there. My mind is in control. My mind is in control. And as a result of that, you feel like you don't know how to release things. You don't know how to shift. It's like you're saying, well, it's I'm not doing it on purpose. It's like you're saying out loud to someone, I'm not doing this on purpose. This is just the way I am. This is how I feel, and I don't like it. I don't like how I feel. I feel very dissatisfied, and I'm not happy, and I feel insecure, and I don't feel joy. But it's almost like you think this is happening to you instead of happening to wake you up, right? I always say that. It didn't happen to break you. It happened to wake you up. And I feel like control is not the answer. The answer here is release. The answer here is surrender. The answer here is to take a mindful look around and say, I'm going to take a leap of faith because I trust in the abundance around me. I'm going to stop and kiss that rose and feel the pleasure and smell that sweet scent, and I'm going to enjoy it. Even if I trigger people, and even if right now that I don't know how I'm going to get there, but that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to release things that don't serve me to get there. You know what I mean, Leo? Yeah. And it's ultimately going to be a choice. It's going to be a choice of, do I stay where I am right now and just keep plodding along in a path that's not bringing me joy, it's not bringing me pleasure, it's not bringing me abundance, it's not bringing me security, or am I going to shift? Am I going to shift onto this new path that I really am interested in, this new perspective? But am I going to take the leap of faith? Will you take the leap of faith to take that new perspective and go the new way, to sort of stop the old patterns and to go a new way? It's interesting, Leo. I really feel like you're being guided this month to go in a new direction, one that speaks to your joy, pleasure, appreciation for all that is beautiful in the world, and to feel those roots of abundance by sort of grounding yourself in the security of trust. I'm going to leave it at that for you, Leo. If this has resonated and you'd like a personal reading, you can find my email in the description below. And as always, thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and watching. And we will see you again very soon for another reading. Have a great month, Leo. Sending you lots of love and light.